one of my brick walls is that my grandfather was born out of wedlock. So I know who his mother was, but I do not know who his father was. I have an idea through having my father's DNA done. I tested my father back in 2010. He was one of the first people I tested, and I've tested him at Ancestry, MyHeritage. His information is at GEDMatch, it's at MyHeritage, and Living DNA. He's an FTDNA, so he's actually everywhere that you can DNA test, and even the sites where you can just analyze your DNA. So this is my dad's match list. I am using a product called Goldie May, which blurs some of the results so that I can share with you. And what I've done is I've taken and added a filter, and that filter is just to view the unviewed matches. So his top one is a third cousin once removed. You can see that it's 52 centimorgans, and that can be several different relationships. It says third cousin once removed or a half third cousin. Let's see what DNA Painter says about all this. So here we are at DNA Painter. This is one of my favorite sites to use. So I've put in, it's an interactive tool, so I've put in the amount of DNA my dad shares with this person, 52 centimorgans, and you can see that it says it's a 30% chance that it's a half third cousin once removed, half second cousin twice removed, second cousin 3 times removed. But you'll also see that at 24% there are a lot of other relationships that are almost equally as good, and then again 21% more that are very similar. So a lot of it is very similar. So we're going to have to figure out something else to help us narrow this down. Now, it might help if I find out his age, but maybe not really that great. But let's go back and see what we can see at Ancestry. So what else can we learn from this match just by looking at the match screen? So we can see that he's from my dad's paternal side of the family. So that is his father's, either his mother's side of his father's mother, so my father's grandmother, or the mystery grandfather. So it could be from either side of that part of the family. He also has an unlinked tree. And if we went to this hyperlink, it would also give us an explanation of the possible other relationships that he could have. So we wouldn't have to necessarily go to DNA Painter, but I always go to DNA Painter. So let's look at what else we can see. So now I'm looking at my dad's match and looking at the people that he has in common with that match, so the shared matches. I do have Pro Tools, so that's going to help me quite a bit. So as we scroll down, you'll see I'm my father's best match, and it shows that I share 48 centimorgans with that in common match. And then it'll go down to the next person, which is obviously a lot of my family. I know that. And there's this one person is, there's a second cousin. So in my case, or my father's case, he shares 230 centimorgans with that person. But this particular match only shares 39 centimorgans. So that's the next thing that we can look at to see the people that we have in common, or that my father has in common with this match, and see how they relate to that person, because sometimes that will help make the tree a little bit better. So you can see on the very bottom here that there is this one person. I share 106, or my father shares 106 centimorgans with that person, but for this match that we're looking at, that's his or hers aunt, or half sister. So that helps. And we also see that she has a tree. So between the tree that the match has and this tree, we might have a bigger clue of how they all relate to each other. And at least then we can make a floating branch on my dad's DNA tree. So I have a DNA tree that is just strictly for my father's matches. I call it the in common with tree, and it is all his DNA matches, and some of them are connected to each other, but I don't know exactly how they connect to my dad because of that mystery in his family. So as I said, I call it the in common with tree, and it's kind of like a working sandbox for the tree, and I put all the matches where I'm not quite sure how they fit into my tree, and I can build on that tree. Sometimes the people that I put in there are just floating branches because they're just, I'm unsure how they connect to everybody else, so I leave them floating. So note, I have taken full advantage of the notes field, and that I encourage you to use that field to write information as you find it. I've mentioned the Primo or LaRose sort of the label group. So I have some inklings that, maybe my great-grandfather was a label, and there is a Primo connection. And if we scroll up a little bit and look at that tree that this match had, you'll see that he also has Primo in his tree. So given that information, now I can go back and look at the other persons and see how they connect. And so they obviously connect much closer because of the aunt situation, and I can keep building the tree, and that can help me with my discovering who my great-grandfather was. One other thing I'd like to mention about the Pro Tools, Ancestry has just introduced where you can not only sort by the highest match in my dad's case, but I can also sort by the highest match for this match's case. So like again, we're looking at my father and this match and the people that they have in common, and I can go in and sort by the people we have in common and show the highest match for him. So let me just sort and I'll show you. So you can see now I've changed my settings for Goldie Mae. I am showing just initials rather than having everything blurred out. It makes it a little bit easier to understand. But again, this is my father and the match, and we're looking at the shared matches that they have. And I've changed the sorting, so now it's sorting by what is the best matches for GG of these shared matches that he has with my dad. So you can see the very first one is someone that's 41 centimorgans from my father, but in the other person's case, they share 1,697 centimorgans. And as we go down, there's another person who shares 1441, and my father shares 106 centimorgans. So you can also notice that they have trees. So if we look at those trees and compare it to the tree that the match has, GG has, then we can start building the tree and get a better picture of how GG relates with everybody else. And that can help me discover perhaps how my dad might fit into this tree. So, and finally I wanted to share with you my dad's in common with tree. This is where I put all of his DNA matches that are unknown, or how everybody connects, and I connect them to each other if I can, and if I can't, then they are a floating branch. So this is a match that we were kind of looking at earlier, and so I build the tree, and you can see that I've put the match's name. I put their username as their name, and then I continue to use their last name is on their profile. I also, in the suffix, or where you would have maybe junior or senior written, I put their amount of centimorgans that they share with my father. So 35 centimorgans. Then you put in all of the people in the tree, and it's really quite easy to do when you are building a tree like this. And I can share that with you on a future video. But each person that I have found when I'm looking at these in common with matches, I then can add to the tree, and also some of the other matches that we were looking at, we can start looking at the people they have in common and, flesh it out a little bit more. So you might have an even better idea how everybody connects by looking at multiple matches and then sorting them by their best matches and seeing how they all relate. So the new Pro Tools is helping a lot of people break down brick walls, and I'm hoping that eventually it will break down my father's brick wall. Has helped me a lot with my beaten batten mystery, but now I need to work on my father's mystery to see if I can figure it out. I think I have a pretty good idea of who my grandfather's father was, but Pro Tools and more matches will probably figure it out for me. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please like it, and also ring that bell and subscribe, and then ring that bell to be sure that you get notified of new videos as they come out. Have a great day and happy hunting!